Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Something a little bit different. I sort of met a bloke who quite likes sort of quirky things like me. Interested in autogyros, good flyer. I bought a headache off him as well, and I bought a contra-rotating autogyro, which I've not managed to fly yet. The first one I broke. And this guy, Dennis, he's kind of, he gave me his old one, which is very nice of him. So I've been trying to fly that. Well, not much luck at the moment, but in the meantime, the first guy I actually bought the contra-rotating one off, he mailed me and said he's got another autogyro. Well, I don't know if anyone knows what this is. If you can... Maybe the body might give it away. Nice tune pipe there. No tail on it at the moment, I'll tell you about it later. Now, this is a Robbe Whopper. And I think it's not called a Whopper because it's big. I think it's because the blades actually make a sort of whop, whop, whop sound as you're flying it. It's a very interesting model. And I think they're sort of collectible as everything that's a bit kind of odd back in the day. I think this is from about 1990. They run a really wide chord blade, which is that. And if you can see, it's very under cambered. It actually goes on that way. It's sort of supposed to give you like the lift. Now, I know a lot of guys don't use these blades. They use something else, which I'm not sure of. But my friend Dennis said he has got some other blades that I can try, because we've not had a lot of success at the moment, but that's partly down to me and partly down to the engine. Now, I would love to have run this on a 4-stroke, but at the moment I haven't got one. I think a 4-stroke 90, or they run them on an OS 60. Well, I had an SC 60 that I flew in my Cardinal when I was flying off the lake when we was doing water planes, but we've actually lost the lake now. It's a bit of a shame. So I thought I'd use that because it was always a really good, powerful engine. I mean, I'm lucky. I know with SC sometimes they're not good and sometimes they are, but this one, it was always powerful, always reliable. I think I've rebuilt it once. I think that was only the bearings. I think I put stainless steel ones in because I was flying off of water. But the problem I've been having with it is it's been overheating and running out of power, like it's running too lean. First flight was only a little flight and put a minute or so, and I managed to land it okay. Second flight, I was flying it around and you could hear the engine was like getting lean, so I thought I'd better get it down best I could. But when you fly an autogyro, you need a little burst of power at the last minute to land them, and it didn't have that, and it come down quite heavy, and it got a tail strike, and it took all this lot off. This is what I've had to remake over the last few days, which has been a bit of a nightmare. The original one I actually repaired. Just glued it up for now, and then I went and done the same thing, but the engine went lean again last weekend, I believe it was, and I got another blade strike again, and it actually broke a link. It sort of landed okay, and it wasn't too bad, but it was downwind, you know, no power, autogyro, downwind. That's not a good combination. So I've rebuilt this again, and I've made it, instead of gluing it together, I've made all new parts to put that together. And, you know, always had trouble with paints and finishes and stuff like that these days. It seems like when you used to get flare paints and stuff back in the day, you painted them on and the fuel would never take it off. You know, it was so strong. But now you're buying these kind of flare, I think, or it's Guild or it's Spectra, whatever paint it is. It's absolutely rubbish and it just comes off. So I've been looking for ages. I normally get a painter or someone I know to do it in 2-pack. Now this started off kind of quite well. I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll go down a tissue and dope road. So I built it all. When I've done tissue and dope, make it really strong. But then when I started to put some cellulose primer on it, it all reacted. So I'm not even sure if that dope was like cellulose. I don't know, because cellulose on cellulose should have been fine. But no, it reacted. So I started to rub it down, and then that started going through the tissue, and it was all getting worse and worse, you know. From a nice thing that I made, it started turning into a nightmare. So what I've done is I bought some isolator. I mean, I've been doing this now for like, it must be 4 or 5 days. I bought some isolator that I was told to buy, and I bought that. And I found out that the shop actually does, I don't know if you've seen these cans. I mean, this is a 2-pack paint. So when you get it, it's just kind of filled in. You get a ring and you pull it out and you twist it, and it gives you a 2-pack paint, which is like so strong. The fuel won't touch it, you know, fantastic paint. And I think it's about 13 quid a tin, something like that. So, you know, I mean, I painted that tail today. It's not a great match for the front, which I'll show you in a minute. It looks all right in the daylight, but as usual, you go under lights and it's not so good, but it's yellow. But these are really good. I mean, I've got quite a lot left, but it'll go off. I think it's got a shelf, once you open it or put the hardener in, I think you've got like a life of probably 8 hours, something like that. But I've got a lot left, but I don't want to keep putting paint on. There's enough on it already. But when I got this, it doesn't look like it's been flown much. But once again, this is the body shell for it. It reminds me of like a submarine or something back from the 20s, or sort of Flash Golden or something like that. But you know, this is, which was in, you know, loads of bits. I've had to do the same again. All Robbe plastics after some time seem to go brittle with age, and you can see in there I've had to you know, reinforce it with the old mesh, epoxy. This bit was okay, but it blew off a table when I was working on it, and it cracked all the back out of it. So also the front, I'm going to try and tidy all this up, but I don't know if you can see in there, the front's got a lot of mesh and epoxy in it. And what I had to do, I had to, it broke right through, sort of from there, through there, all the way through there and down there. Various cracks up here, you know, where it mounts, this one here. So I had to reinforce all them. So I actually cut away there, grooved it out in there, and I put wire mesh on the outside and the inside, and then I actually put the epoxy over the top and the inside. Then I put a thin coat of filler over it and sprayed it, and you know. And this is done in 2-pack as well, but it's a slightly different. I've had the guy match it up, but it's slightly different. But I'm not too fussed. But I'm not flying it with this on at the moment, because until I get the hang of this thing, or I hope that my engine is okay, you know. But at least now I know I can get 2-pack paint, which will save me a lot of aggro. Because when I've done my R22 Robbe helicopter, I don't know if you can remember the video for that. The body was like an eggshell. It took me ages to repair it, and then I painted it with normal paint, and then I put a urethane clear on it, but it still takes the paint off. I think all the paint and stuff you buy nowadays is absolutely pants, you know. I suppose it's environmentally friendly, but it doesn't actually do what it says on the tin, which is you know, not good. So anyway, we'll get back to the mechanics of this Robbe Whopper. It has a clutch on it, which is in here. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Right, it's in there, and I'll switch it on and off. Can you see it moving in? Now, what this does, this gear here, let's move it around a bit. Let's come out of there. Right, this gear here runs off the engine, we've got this gear. I got this gear with the actual Robbe. Now, this gear was meant to go on an OS60, which had like a Woodruff key drive, but this SC engine had a taper, so I set it up in my lathe and I bored a taper in there at the same angle as the bush on there, the taper, so that fitted on there nice. And this gear here takes the power. When you hit this button, this takes this clutch into this cone here. All it is an O-ring. And you've got a little slider in there, which you must oil all the time. Someone's put like a little pipe on it because in one of the magazines I did a test and actually seized up. And you don't want that happening. So that actually gives you the drive. So if you watch, if I turn, let's see if I can move this up a little bit. Let's just see if I can show you the, right. Now, if I, as it is now, it's engaged. So you can see that the rotor head is turning like that. So what you do is you hit this button here, like that, and that spins up the rotors for you to a certain speed. And then as you see it creeping, you knock it off, and then you give it full bore, and off you go. And it takes off kind of really nice. You know, it sort of flies like an aeroplane, sort of helicopter. You've got to use a bit of rudder to get it round in the turns. But it's a good fun and it makes a fantastic sound, you know. I mean, if you look at the swash plate, it's just like a helicopter swash plate. But obviously you've got no pitch. The blades are set at 1 degree negative, which is, you've got a little, where are we? Oh yeah, we've got a little thing there, that you, a little jig that you put on the blades, and you set this up to 1 degree. And to be honest with you, it flies really nice. But as soon as, you know, I mean, the last video, I'll put it on YouTube. I can't put the first one on because I swore at the end. But I put the second one on, and you can see what happened. It almost landed, you know, good. And I think it was about a 4-minute flight, something like that. But when the engine started sick, I had to get the thing down, you know. But it's a really weird setup because you've got, like, if you look at this wing, you've got elevator, which goes down to the back. So that's operated by these rods here. Let's just zoom out, put you down a little bit. Right, so we've got these rods here. If you can see that working, that works the elevator, which goes down to that. And we've also got a rudder, which works that one. So we've got like a rudder on there, they're linked together. We've got elevator, so there's like a, when the back wheel comes up, it goes through that hole, and you've got a little bell crank, and I've got to cut two little oblong bits, and there's two like little circular pieces that go in, that the ball ends, the joints go in. I've had to make them because last time when it got a blade strike, I never found them again. They're probably still flying around somewhere. So, you know, this is a very interesting model. It's sort of easy to fly. It's just a sort of landing, which you've got to have everything in your favour. It flies sort of, when you take off, it's like a helicopter, and you bank it and you pull back and bank and yank, but it kind of doesn't really want to go around, so you give it a bit of rudder, it comes around lovely, it turns nice. But I don't know whether it's the blades or what. I'm not really getting enough lift. I want to try and fly it slowly, but it seems to like only running like on full chat, and you know, the engine keeps going lean, which I think I've actually found out what the problem was with the engine. Now, this tank, I cleaned it all out when I got it, went all over it. Everything looked fine, but like an idiot, I didn't check the clunk in the tank. So it's like my own fault, really. You know, because I didn't check the clunk. But someone said to me that maybe it's running lean because there's something in the tank or clunk or something like that. And I thought, well, it could be. Well, that night that I actually got the blade strike, I was putting all my stuff back in the car and I couldn't drain the fuel out of the tank. First of all, it started sort of draining, and then it didn't, and then it did. And I took the pipe off the carburetor and you couldn't even blow down it. So I thought, oh, that's the problem, you know, it's blocked. So when I got home, I took all the tank apart, and sure enough, in the clunk, there was like a piece of wadding, or I don't know what it was. Something was blocking up that. So hopefully I'll be able to get this engine. I mean, because I never had any problems with it before. It used to run 10 minutes at a time over the lake, not a problem. So I can't really see why I'm having problems with this. But I don't know whether there's a lot of sort of inherent drag with this model. You know, you got them blades, and you know, and I believe that the engine probably could do with a 91 OS. You know, I mean, my Aquawatt, I've got a Sato 100 in that. I mean, that would be ideal for this, but I think it'd be a bit overkill. So I'm looking for a sort of second-hand, good 91 OS to put in this. And I love 4-strokes anyway, but I'm going to give this another go and just hope that it keeps flying, because I can't keep making them tails. You know, there is quite a lot of work in making them, you know, the little plugs and things like that. It's just, you know, I don't want to break this one, but I've got to have that on there to fly it. So it's not like the body, I can leave it off. So I've got to put that on. So, you know, we've got a simple radio that's in here. It's just run of the mill, nothing fancy. Let's see if I can move it around a little bit. I did actually break a wheel, so I've made up some alley ones. Now, you know, I don't know if you can, let's swing this around a bit. Now this is the little, nice little rear wheel, that steers. So you've got the steering, this one's the elevator, and this one goes onto a bell crank for the rudders. We've got to join up. Let's say, I've got a beautiful tune pipe under there, which is very quiet, you know. I was wondering whether the tune pipe was kind of restricting it a bit, but I'm not sure if it is. But got my Futaba radio stuff in there. All bog standard servos, you know, everything seems to work very well, and it flies really nice. You tend to bend the legs up a little bit. Let's just show you the other side of the model. I need a bigger table. Right, so this is the other side. Now, you do have, let's bring it down a little bit. There's the wheels I made. You do have a problem with these bending. They bend very easy. I don't know whether to put another brace, you know, across, but they bend from here and they just bend out. It's the slightest like little bump. If they were like a Dura or something a bit stronger, which I shall look for, but it's sort of quite hard to find a decent kind of Dura, but they need to be made out of a stronger stuff or need to be sprung or something like that, because, you know, if you was watching my last crash with this, it was only a slight sort of like bump when it landed, and I think it actually broke one of the links in the top of the heli. I think it broke one of these up here. Yeah, that's it, it broke that one. And I think it let the blade fall down and chopped the tail off again. So what I need, I mean, even the back wheel I think could be sprung a little bit, or maybe the front wheels. It needs a little bit of give or something really strong, because what it does, it flares these out, so they just, the wheels come out like that and it sits sort of flat. There's no sort of give in it at all. So I don't know whether I can put something on there, sprung loaded or something like that, or maybe just get my landings a bit better, you know. But I think both days I was flying it, and it was very, very calm, you know. And both times it just cut out on me in the wrong place, or went lean on me in the wrong place. And the rest is history. But the little clutch piece in here is a very clever thing, because that works absolutely really nicely. I had to make a adapter block in there, because this exhaust is made for the OS 60, and the SC has got a different pitch on the hole, so I had to make a little plate to go in there, screw on, you know, blah blah. But the rest of it is in really good condition. You know, I've not really had to do a lot with it. It was the body, really, you know, the actual body shell was in a terrible state. But, you know, it's a nice looking sort of thing. The problem is, with the shell, I have to pull that apart near enough 4 inches to get over that fuel tank. Why the fuel tank is so big, I do not know. But you have to kind of pull, and if it's going to crack, I've done it a few times and it seems to be fine, but you know, I think if it's a bit cold out there, it might break along where it's been repaired, you know, I don't know. But you know, I'm a bit disappointed with the two colours. They've not sort of matched up. I think if I put some more paint on there, it might go the right colour, but I'm not doing any more painting on. Now, my garage is full up with yellow overspray, and my 2 motorbikes have got covers on them, but you know what it's like overspray, it gets everywhere. It looks alright in the daylight, it's just under the fluorescent lights, it's got a different sort of colour. So that's about it with this. Hopefully I can get one of me flying it without it crashing and taking the tail off, because I'm getting so fed up with messing about with them tails, you know, it's a lot of work. So keep watching, guys. I hope, you know, to get a decent flight with this. It's a lovely thing, and also my contra-rotating one. It's quite an interesting model. I'll have to do another little video on that, but I'll say bye for now. Look after yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.